let them know and experience some of our dreams, but also to come back around and say, all right, well, what might some of your dreams be? But also I think, and really explore that. But I also think part of it's too, allowing them to explore stuff, but not having us take over. So I'll give you an example. This is, again, this is one of those moments where I did something pretty good, but I messed up in plenty of other areas. But so our younger son, Alex, at one point decided he wanted to do martial arts. And I did martial arts in college and, kind of a couple years out of college. I loved martial arts, did Taekwondo. So I'm like, immediately I'm like, oh, I got this. I know the school you should go to. I know the teacher you should have. It'll be amazing. I know the martial art you should pick. We have the same kind of body style. This will be amazing, right? And then I caught myself. I didn't actually say it, but I was thinking it like, yes, I've got this. I finally know, because I'm not a sports dad. They're not much for sports either, so it was like a thing. But anyway, I kind of caught myself and I said, this is an opportunity for him to not only explore a dream, but to learn how to walk out a dream. So I said, here's the thing is I'm going to walk alongside you, but I'm really going to let this be your decision. Now he was 13, 14 at the time when we started this, but I said, here's what I'd like to do is I said, it's awesome. You want to do martial arts. And I did martial arts when I was younger. So I have some opinions, but here's the thing is I want to sit down and what we're going to do is we're going to research schools and I'm going to let you do it. I'll sit with you, but we're going to find 5 schools. And then we will go to each one of those schools. I'll go with you, but I want you to go in. I want you, if it's okay to take a class, you can take a class, but I want you to try out. We're going to check out 5 schools. And in the end, it's going to be your decision which school you go to. Mm. And so at first he was kind of like, really? Like, are you really going to let me do this? Or is it just going to be like, you're going to take over at some point? But I said, no, really. I really want this to be, something we do together or explore together, but I really want it to be your decision. And so we did, we went and checked out 5 different schools. One was straight up Cobra Kai, like,
sweep the leg.
Exactly right. 7 body bag, Johnny. Yeah. Like, the whole thing, right? And he knew almost immediately. We walked in. He's like, nope, this isn't it. But we stayed, he left. And within, 3 minutes, we're in the car. He's like, never need to go back there. But we went and checked out a
You want to join our dojo? Punch that little boy in the face. But I don't want to if you're going to be tough.
That's right. Exactly. And there were times where I would see something or whatever, but I would always, when we got back to the car, I just say, all right, what did you see?
Yeah.
What did you think? And then it wasn't like I would withhold my opinion, but I would let him go first, right? And so finally we narrowed it down to the top 2. And what was great was the school he decided on, the one he liked was the one I liked the most too, which was great. But I was totally willing to let him run with it. And then he's like, well, do you want to start with me? And I said, I may start down the road, but I really want this to be your thing. So I'll keep gumming, but I want you to have a year head start on it. And so I, went and watched, would watch testings. My wife would too, those kinds of things. But I really wanted it to be his thing. And what that did was that allowed him to, one, know he wasn't navigating it by himself, but it really helped him to think through, is it a dream? Is it something I want to do? And if it is, then what's the best next steps, and how do I stick with it? And one of the other things that we allow quitting as long as it's intentional. Mm-hmm. So we said, all right, go 6 months. If you're going to commit to it, go 6 months and then you can bail. No questions asked if you want to be done, but at least, give it 6 months. He did the 6 months, like, no way, I'm just getting started, all that stuff. And, I just allowed him to do it. So it's kind of that whole thing of just saying, hey, what are some of your dreams? And then figure out some ways to experiment. And, I know for me, I just have to watch because I'm full of ideas and I'm full of, like you said, energy. So I'm like, oh, I'm more than happy to jump in and take over this whole thing. But just really being able to say, hey, be present, ask, and then walk alongside and explore it with them. Don't do it for them.
Were there any dreams that you had to shut down?
That's a great question. There would be dream. Let me think. That's a good question. There were definitely dreams like we had a big, not in this house, but in our last house, we had a pretty good climbing tree. And Alex has always been a bit of a climber. He loves climbing. And at one point he was climbing a pretty good this tree, and he was up there pretty good. And he's like, "Dad, can I jump down?" Yeah. Maybe your boys have done that, right? And my wife yells like, "No!" And I said, "I get it." I was like, "But listen, at some point he's going to jump down, and wouldn't it be better if it's at a time where we're here, you know?" And I said, "Here's the thing: is if you want to do it, figure out how to do it." And it was funny because then he was like, "Oh, the mystery's gone," right? So it's hilarious. He did not wind up jumping that time. He jumped another time. But yeah, so it's interesting. So like the big thing is that especially as they got into in junior high and high school, we would support their dreams, but they also had to self-fund. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't always like they didn't have to pay like the first camera that we got. They didn't have to pay for the whole thing, but they had to pay for a big chunk of it. Right. Yep. When they wanted to upgrade to a better camera. So they had to figure out how to make that money. Mm-hmm. So what's interesting is like, we've never really had to dissuade them from anything, but we definitely have made it real. So I think sometimes people, you know, they hear a guy has a Dream, Think, Do podcast and, oh, it must be rainbows, butterflies, and little ponies in their house. And it's like, yeah, but we know you have to work hard for dreams too. So we have that, you know, kind of help them to start that early too.